Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mop here on a Tuesday morning. Sunshine coming up. Beautiful skies this morning coming into work. I'll post those pictures later, but they are gorgeous. Coming in across the river today. Took Chloe in for surgery this morning to have 2 cysts taken off her back. So that'll be interesting on how that comes out. Very worrisome for us. Hopefully it's nothing more than just the cysts. But good morning. And have you really been affected? I've got a curious question for you, those that are upset about people on SNAP, food stamps, food share, whatever it may be. Has it really affected you personally? Have you been there to understand situations when somebody swipes that card and gets their food or whatever it may be? Do you know for a fact that, oh my God, they're wealthy people, or they're not here legally, or they're not here doing this or doing that, or they're lazy bums because they don't go get a job? Are you that person that makes that statement? My next question to you then is, has it really affected you? And do you know the stats? And do you know for a fact that they are getting these free gifts because they don't deserve them? They're just lazy asses sitting at home. See, back when I was little, when I was 9, or I guess I was never really little. Let's go there first. But when I was younger, my mom had to go on food stamps for probably a month. She had lost her job. I was a freshman in high school. And yeah, we needed it to survive. I was then able to go, I had to wait till I was 15 to go to work full time to make sure that that didn't happen again. See, it made me drive to go on and do better things. But then we had to go on WIC at the time when I had just met my ex-wife. At the time, I was dating her, and we had 2 girls at home, and then we had my son, and we went on WIC for just a short amount of time after I lost my job. Was it a proud moment for me? No, it wasn't. But it was a necessity for the family. See, nobody understands what a person's going through to be on SNAP, to be on, and in Minnesota it was called WIC, where you got free milk or whatever it may be. You know, back when we got commodities when we were really young, you got cheese, government cheese and all that stuff. Did you really know the story of the person that was getting that? Do you go up front and go, oh, I know that guy. He's got all kinds of money. Or I know that family. They're just lazy asses sitting on their butt at home and, they don't try to go get work. Maybe they can't. See, nobody knows that I have brain damage up here because you can't tell. But there are some people that you can't tell are handicapped. And guess what? They need that stuff to survive. So with this government shutdown looming, and it's in full force, with Republicans digging into their heels, blaming the Democrats, and whatever it may be, we're more worried about building ballrooms and waging wars and blowing up drug boats than making sure our country is healthy, especially younger kids. We are more worried about that than making sure elementary kids go with full meals, because sometimes at school it's the only time a kid gets an actual full meal. Imagine eating just 1 meal a day, and it is a school lunch. Just imagine that that's your only option, and you as a kid then are looked at because, your school balance will hand you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And that kid looks at it as, oh boy, that's at least something I get to eat. See, for years now, our moral compass, and for that matter, our heart inside, has started to turn away because of everything we hear from the higher ups. And the higher ups in this world are billionaires. They're not millionaires anymore. I remember being a kid hearing about millionaires going, holy Jesus, that's a lot. Now we're talking billionaires, and we're possibly talking about our next person being a trillionaire, Elon Musk, worth $1 trillion. And we have billionaires now running the country that don't have any clue on the food stamp process or SNAP or any of those because they've never had to use it. They don't understand that that is the survival for some, and it's not just, hey, lazy ass, go get a job and you'll be fine. See, I've seen that post now on some Richland rants and whatever the hell chants and bitches, whatever you want to call them. And, oh, just get your lazy ass off the couch and go find a job. For some people, it's not that simple. And if you're standing behind somebody, most of them are not proud. They don't stand in front of you and say, hey, guess what I've got? I got a card. And they're not there for making it a proud moment. They're doing it because it's survival. And they're doing it for the best interest of their kids. Kids, they're just trying to survive. Kids are living in conditions that most of us would go, holy shit, what a mess. So yeah, at one point, we had food stamps in my house when I was, I think, 9 years old, when we first moved to Minnesota. And it lasted until, about a month. And that it said when I was at the age of 15, I decided I'm going to work full time. My mom did not ever buy me clothes. I worked for them all the time. My mom would spend the money she got, whether it was to be a child support or anything else, to put food on the table, to allow me to play sports and do that. Because sports, see, are not free either. High school sports cost money. Everything costs money to do something. So you have to either design yourself, and that's why my kids are all hardworking kids. My son doesn't know what it's like to slow down. My kid works and works and works because he's programmed that way. Nothing comes for free. I get that. But I think sometimes we look at it that if we hand benefits to somebody, oh, it's because they're lazy or they're here illegally. See, I think what we're going after also, what I was told was we were going to go after the roughest, toughest criminals and deport them. Have we? Some. But I think we're also picking out the easy targets as well. If you've ever been a hunter, sometimes you take the easy target. Sometimes you don't take the full-on effort to go after the smartest and the toughest. It's kind of like in high school. You never picked on the kid that was the roughest, toughest kid. You selected the ones on the bottom of the board because they were easy targets. Ever seen a lion hunt or a cheetah hunt? They go after the easiest prey, the lame ones. And that's how our society is wired currently now, too. We do not offer our hand to pull people along, to bring them up to our side. No, we'd much rather keep pushing them back and holding them down. Hence why our current leadership doesn't want you to be educated, doesn't want you to be smart, because then you start seeing things. You start understanding what's truly happening. The rich are going to just continue to get richer. The middle class is going to start being worked towards the lower class, where those two classes will meet and mix because the rich just keep pulling away. And it's because they don't know anything else. And they don't know how to make their ego and their internals feel any better. Hence why you have people like Pam Bondi saying the things she says, because then you feel superior over Kash Patel, Hegseth. If you watch anything degrading in the world, and I never served, but I know plenty that have, and to sit and watch generals, if they could roll their eyes back, they would have, but they are trained to be top-notch, well-educated. So they sat there at full attention, not a scour, not nothing. Even though what they heard was absolutely ridiculous. I have more respect for those that serve than that gentleman showed. And I don't know if I can call him a gentleman, but I was raised that way. So he's in a higher position than I am. So Mr. Hegseth proved how idiotic calling generals and things fat and out of shape. I'm like, really? And how they're treating females. We had some of the best fighter pilots serving. Take time to understand how talented, how smart and educated, and how brilliant you are to become a 4-star, 5-star general. And who would you want on your side? Pete Hegseth or a 5-star general? I can guarantee you where I would go. So that's my speech today, and that's just been on my mind, is it is time to open up our care and compassion. Make sure those that are walking behind get brought up to be equal with us. It's not here for us to judge. But I do know that if the SNAP benefits and everything else go away, there are going to be a lot of starving children and a lot of hungry children that are going to struggle. They struggle already when you are a low-income child in high school, junior high school, elementary school, because you're not wearing the Nikes, you're not wearing whatever it may be, you're probably wearing the best clean clothes or best clothes that don't have holes in them and everywhere else that maybe your parents got at Goodwill, or maybe they just got hand-me-downs. See, that's how ruthless kids are, because that's what they're being taught, is in order to show your superiority is you beat up mentally people below you, and then you feel better about yourself. And that doesn't work in my world. I am built the way I am who I am because of all the struggles I went through. I am very fortunate to be alive today after suffering my stroke, my grand mal seizure, Lyme's disease, staph infection, you name it. It has made me who I am today. So, that's my rant today on the mop. I'm going to end in good news. Got a message yesterday. Quality Liquid Feeds out of Dodgeville. Great friend of mine, Corey Berg, is donating. I don't know what he's donating. He's sending me a check to my address. Don't know, don't care. Thank you to QLF for becoming a sponsor to the second annual Marcy Strikes Out Alzheimer's Baker Shootout. Thank you also to Derek Kozlak. He's not only a great bowler, he's not only a great friend, he has now jumped on board, and this will be the second bowling ball that he's gotten me, and it's pretty damn cool bowling ball. It's a Vets bowling ball. It's a DVL. It's a 14-pound, signed by Johnny Battaglia, not officially signed, but his autograph is on it. Now, Johnny Battaglia, if you don't know, he's a great bowler, but in the basement, I have the original LT48. My dad had it that I never knew of. I have the bag to go with it and the brown suede shoes. It is one sexy outfit, and if you brought that to the bowling alley, probably back then, everybody kind of paid attention to you because it was quite the bowling outfit. I had an LT48 when I was in high school, but it was a next generation. It was a different cover stock and everything. So, the Marcy Strikeout Alzheimer's Baker Shootout, now a week and a half away. Gosh, hard to believe. Crazy, we're that close. Picked up the trophies yesterday. They're on display at the Phoenix Center. So are all the bowling balls except for that one. It's being shipped to me currently. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone that has made this possible. If you look at my events page, there are 46 sponsors and 12 lane sponsors that I have to give the utmost thank you to, because it means the world. I get very emotional thinking about it. I get very emotional thinking about the money, where it goes, and how we can help. So I've got great volunteers coming to help me make this day huge. And all I keep hearing about is, Chris, we're bowling in it this year because last year was such a great time and such a great tournament. Be patient with us again this year. I have people helping that don't know a lot about bowling, but they know how to sell tickets. They know how to make sure all of our things are on display. You know, I've got anything from a pheasant hunt in Casper, Wyoming by one of the best friends I'll ever. He gave me the canine experience. I spent a lot of miles riding around with Bear and Bob Borden. Bear, phenomenal dog. I'm blessed with a son that has a phenomenal canine as well, Raven. So they have a lot in common. I have a feeling I know who's going to be out to see Bob to pheasant hunt. I have a feeling, but I can't go any further than that. I have full-blown smoked brisket from TKO. I've got, like I said, 8 bowling balls now to give away. It is going to be a huge day. Plus, the teams that are bowling in it, $1,000 to win, down to, I think, $130 for sixth place. So 6 spots out of the 12 teams are going to get some form of money back. $1,000 for first, and I think $700 for second. That's unheard of. The 8 bowling balls to raffle off. If you've ever been at any tournament, I don't care if it's the state tournament, you don't have 8 bowling balls to win. You don't have the chance. So make sure you bring plenty of cash with you to buy a lot of raffle tickets, because you could walk away with multiple bowling balls that day. Not just 1, not just 2. But quite honestly, you could be chosen for 8 bowling balls. I don't know if you'd need that many. I have 6, but another one won't hurt. But I'm not allowed to buy tickets. That's what my wife said. So we're going to go with that. I think it's unfair. Always use another one. But when you have ones in the basement already too, you're not allowed to get any more. So we'll leave them for people to win. Going to have lunch special, drink specials at the Phoenix Center. Thanks to Greg and Amy Shep again for hosting this event. Alzheimer's Association will be there. I have not heard back yet anymore from them, but they've reached out to 10 news medias. Yeah, that will be interesting to see who all shows up for that. I don't know how big this thing's going to be. I don't know how many people are going to be there. I'll be on the news. I'll be on WRCO next Thursday, the 6th, to go over it as well. So, thank you all again. Without all of your sponsorships, this would not be possible to raise what I hope will be $10,000, and then that would make $15,000 in a 12-month period. And I guess, people say, Chris, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of this. To a certain point, it has been. But it's to honor my mom, and then to hopefully help people never have to go through this damn disease. Because it is god-awful. It is the worst thing to watch when your parent looks at you and doesn't remember who you are. So, they may forget us, but this event is so that we never forget them. So, with that said, May your day be blessed today, and may you take time to bless somebody around you. Have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another edition of The Mop.